Hi everyone. So when you finish coding your conditional assessment, this is somewhat how it should look. It doesn't have to look exactly like this, but the essential content should still be there. So when you open up your index.html, after you've linked your JavaScript, you should have some sort of prompt that's asking the user, "Hey, are you picking heads or tails?" Because we're basically simulating a coin flip. So I'll type in tails, and in the background you're going to have some JavaScript that's going to pick a number between 0 and 1, and the idea is that if it's 0, you arbitrarily pick whether that's heads or tails, and same with 1, as long as they're opposite. So either make 0 heads and 1 tails, or 1 heads and 0 tails. But the idea is you're generating a random number so the computer can simulate a coin flip. And so depending on whatever they picked, you're going to take whatever the user entered in, compare it to whatever the computer entered in, and see if the user guessed right? So whatever the computer picked, we're just going to assume is what landed heads up or tails down. So in this case, I typed in tails, and I guess the computer generated heads in the background. So I get this message displayed. The second part should you should ask the user, what year were they born, and so I'm going to type in some fake here. And so this is kind of like, you can think about this being, as if you were going to the Bacardi website or something, right? What's the first thing they do? Well, they ask you your birthday so they can determine if you should see the site. So this has a little bit of practical application. It's a little more simplified. But if I put in 2003, I'm obviously not 21. I'm younger than 21. And so I should get a message that says I'm not old enough to drink. So let's refresh it again and kind of see the different options. If I pick heads, this time the computer randomly picked heads. And so the conditional matched and said I guessed right, and that the coin flip landed on heads, which is what I picked. And so let's pick a different year for the birth date. So if I enter, 1980, that's not when I was born, but obviously you're well old enough to drink alcohol in the United States. So I hit OK. It'll put that. And if I pick, so one more time, I'll refresh, and I'm just going to put tails. And so this time I guessed right again, so it landed on tails. But the last case for the birth year, so we picked, something way older than 21. We picked something younger than 21. If they are exactly 21, so, if I was born in the year 2000, February 7th, 2000, I'd be turning 21 today. And if I hit OK, I should get the last message that I'm old enough to drink in the US barely, right? So we're assuming that they're, obviously they could be born in the year 2000, November 30th, in which case they're not, yet old enough to drink. But we're just assuming that whatever their birth year is, we're calculating. It's a simplified calculation. So those are the 3 different messages for the birth year. So that's what your code should essentially display. If you've got all those characteristics, you're probably in good shape.